The moment your world fell apart wasn't the end. It was the invitation. You didn't lose your path. The path was forcing you to wake up. Every ending looks like chaos while it's happening. Only later do you realize it was construction. Carl Jung wrote that the psyche doesn't grow in comfort. It grows when something breaks, when your old identity can no longer hold what you've become. That's why every crisis feels like death. A death of who you were, so something else can emerge in the space that's left. Today, we'll break down what really happens in that process, the psychology behind falling apart, and how the very breakdown is what gives birth to clarity, direction, and meaning. It always starts the same. A relationship ends. A dream fails. A betrayal cuts deeper than you imagined. And suddenly, the structure of your life, the one you thought was stable, dissolves. People say time heals, but that's not what heals you. Awareness does. Because time doesn't rebuild the same person. It gives birth to a new one. When everything collapses, your mind tries to fight for control. It replays the past. It negotiates with reality. It tries to go back. But there is no back. There's only forward, into the unknown. And that's the part most people resist. The truth that transformation starts the moment you stop arguing with loss. Carl Jung called this the night sea journey, the phase of descent into the unconscious, where everything familiar disappears. You lose roles, identities, even language. You stop saying, "I'm fine," because you know you're not. You stop pretending to be the person people remember. And in that silence, something else begins to form. The Stoics had a similar idea. They called it amor fati, to love your fate even when it burns, to see in every fall not punishment, but preparation. Because the universe doesn't destroy you to hurt you. It clears what you refused to release. Pain has one job: to expose what was never sustainable. That's why it hurts. It's tearing down a version of you that wasn't built to last.
Eventually, the noise stops. Not because life got easier, but because your mind surrendered. You stop chasing closure. You stop searching for apologies. And for the first time, you breathe without fighting the air. That's when you realize the truth. You didn't lose yourself. You met yourself beneath everything that collapsed. The version of you that emerges from silence is not the one who survived the storm, but the one who learned to dance with it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That's not philosophy. That's lived experience. Every obstacle, every heartbreak, every sleepless night was reintroducing you to your own strength. Rebirth doesn't start with confidence. It starts with exhaustion. With the moment you stop trying to fix what's gone and start asking what's next. It's slow. It's quiet. But every small act, getting out of bed, showing up again, believing that meaning might exist beyond survival, is reconstruction. The Stoics believed in acting without attachment to the outcome, not to be cold, but to be free. Because when you stop expecting life to match your plans, you start seeing the opportunities inside the ruins. And the truth is, every person you admire has been through this. Every philosopher, artist, survivor. They all walked through destruction before they found direction. The crisis wasn't the end of their story. It was the edit that made it readable. You'll know the transformation is complete when the same situation that once broke you no longer moves you. You stop craving validation from the people who left. You stop replaying what you could have said. You start seeing the pain as data, evidence of how deeply you felt and how much you've grown. That's when you become dangerous in the quiet way, not because you're detached, but because you understand. You've seen destruction up close and you know it's survivable. That's power. From that moment, everything changes. The past stops being a wound. It becomes a map. Every transformation ends with a question. Now that you've rebuilt, what will you do with the strength you found? You could use it to protect yourself forever, to harden, to isolate. Or you could use it to build something that reflects your depth. Healing isn't about returning to who you were. It's about becoming someone who can hold peace without needing everything to be perfect. As Jung wrote, "No tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." You've been there. You've seen the fire. Now you know. It was never destruction. It was transformation in disguise. If you're in that place right now, the collapse, the silence, the breaking, remember this: nothing in nature blooms all year, and neither do you. Type it in the comments so it becomes real. I'm not breaking, I'm becoming. If this message reached you when you needed it, share it with someone still in their storm, because one day they'll realize the same truth you just did. The end was never the end. It was the beginning, disguised as loss. Subscribe if you want to stay in this circle, where philosophy meets psychology and pain becomes wisdom.